15 mind-blowing facts about Honduras and bizarre taboos you won't believe travel documentary. Honduras unveiled beyond the postcard paradise. Forget everything you think you know about Honduras. Behind the Caribbean coastline and ancient Mayan ruins lies a nation where reality, well, really does defy logic. This is a country where fish literally fall from the sky every single year, where a magnificent bridge stands majestically over absolutely nothing, and where breaking an unwritten cultural rule can actually land you in serious trouble. Welcome to Honduras, a land where the extraordinary masquerades as ordinary and the impossible happens with stunning regularity. The nation that confused the world. Picture this. You're a diplomat in the 1800s trying to fill out official United Nations paperwork, and you encounter a country called República de Honduras, en Nueva Segovia. Even seasoned international officials honestly just threw up their hands in frustration. After breaking away from the Central American Federation, Honduras didn't simply want independence, it wanted to honor the ancient region of Nueva Segovia by incorporating it into the national identity. The result was a name so unwieldy that foreign dignitaries couldn't pronounce it, remember it, or even spell it consistently. International documents became a comedy of errors. Some called it Nueva Honduras, others abbreviated it as HNS, and the United Nations occasionally printed completely wrong versions in official papers. Honduran delegates found themselves constantly reintroducing their own country at international gatherings. When the heavens rain fish, in the mountain town of Yoro, residents don't just watch for storm clouds, they grab their baskets. Every year, usually between May and July, the impossible becomes routine. Fish literally rain from the sky. This isn't folklore or religious mythology. National Geographic documented the phenomenon in 1970, confirming streets covered with small, lively freshwater fish that shouldn't exist anywhere near this inland mountain community, 45 miles from the Caribbean coast. Local explanations range from scientific to spiritual. Some theorists suggest underground river systems that flood during heavy rains, pushing hidden fish populations to the surface. Others propose tornado-like weather patterns that vacuum up fish from distant waters and deposit them inland. The townspeople have embraced the mystery wholeheartedly. The Festival de la Lluvia de Pez transforms this unexplained phenomenon into celebration, complete with parades, community fish fries, and prayers of thanksgiving. Locals collect the unexpected harvest, share it with neighbors, and welcome curious visitors from around the world. Whether it's divine intervention or perhaps just a meteorological anomaly, the fish rain, well, it really represents something deeper. It's about a community's ability to find joy and meaning in the inexplicable. The dark side of mountain traditions. In remote northwestern Honduras, where civilization honestly feels centuries away, some communities practice customs that would shock most of the modern world. Here, marriage isn't sacred, it's transactional, and wives can be traded like commodities at regular markets. You know, this isn't ancient history, but rather a persistent reality. Men still bring their wives to village markets to auction them off, or sometimes exchange them for livestock, household goods, or even, believe it or not, old radios. Some women have been traded multiple times, their values sort of fluctuating based on things like age, health, and, well, perceived usefulness. The practice actually stems from colonial-era economics, when women possessed no property rights and served primarily as vehicles for asset transfer. A university study from 1998 found that 27% of men in certain mountain villages admitted to participating in wife swapping at least once. The Honduran government has, attempted intervention, restricting such practices to organized markets only 3 times yearly and banning certain related customs. However, enforcement in remote mountain regions remains, honestly, quite challenging, and the underlying economic pressures that drive these practices, extreme poverty and traditional gender roles, they still persist. This reality helps explain why Honduras maintains one of Central America's highest rates of unregistered marriages. It also contributes to complex family structures, where children may not even know their biological mothers due to these frequent parental exchanges. Toncontín International Airport in Tegucigalpa earns its reputation as one of the world's most dangerous airports through a terrifying combination of geography and physics. Surrounded by mountains and dense urban development, pilots must execute a sharp 45-degree turn immediately before touchdown, a maneuver that even experienced aviators find nerve-wracking. The runway measures only 7,100 feet, nearly half the length of major international airports, yet Boeing 757s and other large aircraft regularly attempt landings here. The margin for error is virtually non-existent. In 2008, Ataka Airlines' Airbus A320 demonstrated these dangers when it slid off the runway during landing, crashing onto the adjacent highway. Such incidents aren't anomalies, but predictable outcomes of operating large aircraft in conditions that push safety limits. Successful landings at Toncontin earn spontaneous applause from passengers and crew alike. Upon deplaning, travelers often receive congratulatory greetings. "Welcome to Honduras. You made it safely." The relief is genuine and well-founded. Travelers seeking less adventurous arrivals can use Palmarola International Airport, located 47 miles from the capital and built to modern safety standards that don't require daredevil piloting skills. In major Honduran cities, two men sharing a motorcycle will quickly attract police attention, not for traffic violations, but as potential criminals. The Dos Hombres on Moto law addresses a very real security threat: motorcycle assassins. For over a decade, hit-and-run killings via motorcycle have terrorized urban Honduras. The method is devastatingly simple. One person drives while another shoots, creating fast, mobile attacks that are difficult to prevent or investigate. The law specifically targets male pairs. Two women riding together face no restrictions. A man with his girlfriend travels without concern. But two men, whether father and son, best friends or co-workers, risk being stopped, questioned, and potentially fined. While this gender-specific enforcement may seem discriminatory, it reflects the statistical reality of how these crimes are typically committed. The law prioritizes public safety over individual convenience, though tourists can find themselves unexpectedly entangled in security procedures designed for local crime prevention. On Honduras's Caribbean coast, the Garifuna people maintain communities where traditional gender roles are completely reversed. Here, men quickly learn that arguing with women, especially wives, mothers, or female elders, violates fundamental cultural principles. So, this isn't about modern feminism, but rather about ancient matriarchal traditions that have, survived centuries of outside influence. Garifuna women control property, make family decisions, and hold spiritual authority that men simply cannot challenge. In these communities, it's the women who decide where the children attend school, whether houses are sold, and even, interestingly, which relatives can visit for holidays. Men work, fish, and socialize, but when they cross their thresholds, they understand that, respectful silence demonstrates spiritual wisdom, not weakness. During sacred rituals like Dugu ceremonies, men who interrupt female elders are immediately excluded from the spiritual circle and considered spiritually unclean. This isn't punishment, but rather a recognition that certain spiritual powers belong exclusively to women. Visitors often describe entering these communities as, stepping into an alternate reality where centuries-old gender dynamics create social harmony through clearly defined, respected roles. The Choluteca Bridge stands as a monument to human hubris and nature's unpredictability. Built by Japanese engineers in 1998 to withstand Central America's most violent storms, it represented cutting-edge, disaster-resistant infrastructure. Then Hurricane Mitch arrived. The bridge survived the hurricane perfectly, exactly as designed. The problem was that 75 inches of rain in 4 days convinced the Choluteca River to relocate entirely. The bridge didn't fail. The river simply moved somewhere else. Today, this magnificent structure spans a dry field, earning the nickname the world's most useless bridge. It has become a powerful metaphor taught in business schools worldwide, the importance of adaptability over mere strength. The Choluteca Bridge spawned a modern proverb, "Don't be the Choluteca Bridge," meaning don't become so rigid in your design that you can't adapt when circumstances change around you. While the bridge's practical value disappeared overnight, its symbolic value has proven enduring. It reminds us that the most sophisticated planning means nothing if it can't accommodate unexpected change. Honduras's tropical climate seems perfect for going barefoot, but don't try entering someone's home without shoes. In Honduran culture, bare feet inside a house signal profound disrespect toward your hosts. Unlike cultures where removing shoes demonstrates cleanliness, Honduras associates bare feet with poverty, laziness, and poor manners. Many families post signs requesting that visitors keep their footwear on. Por favor, no entre descalzo, please don't enter barefoot. This cultural norm persists despite the hot, humid climate that would make barefoot comfort logical. Instead, proper respect begins literally from the ground up. Your feet, not your words, make the first impression on Honduran hospitality. Honduras packs extraordinary biodiversity into its compact territory, claiming the distinction of being Central America's only country with 5 distinct ecological zones. From sea level to nearly 10,000 feet elevation, visitors can experience coastal plains, dense rainforests, limestone highlands, misty cloud forests, and coastal mangrove swamps. Cuzuco National Park showcases rare cloud forests where bioluminescent frogs create natural light shows that seem borrowed from science fiction. The eastern Mosquitia wetlands function as a miniature Amazon, harboring indigenous communities that maintain minimal contact with the modern world. According to the Honduran Ministry of Environment, this ecological diversity supports over 700 bird species, 250 reptiles, and hundreds of unique plants found nowhere else on Earth. Travelers can theoretically journey from cloud-covered mountaintops to tropical swamplands within a single weekend. Forget everything you know about addresses. Honduras operates on a landmark-based direction system that turns navigation into an elaborate treasure hunt. Instead of street numbers and names, you'll receive directions like 2 blocks past the Coca-Cola sign, across from the yellow church. When landmarks disappear or change, addresses become meaningless. Google Maps often displays cryptic codes like 3RW5 plus 6VM or QMQ4 plus 638 that represent neighborhood coordinates rather than actual addresses. For tourists staying in resorts, this system remains invisible. But travelers renting apartments in cities like Tegucigalpa or San Pedro Sula must develop survival strategies, save GPS coordinates, photograph distinctive buildings, befriend neighbors, and always confirm directions with multiple sources. The Mesoamerican reef surrounding Roatan Island represents one of Earth's most precious marine ecosystems, and Honduras protects it with fines that really grab attention. Accidentally touching, standing on, or damaging coral can result in penalties up to $3,000 and immediate deportation. This isn't bureaucratic overreach, but ecosystem preservation. The reef, second largest in the world after Australia's Great Barrier Reef, supports over 500 fish species, 65 coral types, sea turtles, manatees, and whale sharks. Individual coral branches grow only 0.1 to 2 inches annually, meaning large formations represent centuries of development. The law applies equally to tourists and locals. Even accidental damage can trigger serious legal consequences. Visitors must maintain respectful distances from all marine life and avoid any contact with living coral formations. Throughout Honduras, thirsty visitors often receive water in small plastic bags called bolitas rather than bottles. These sealed bags hold 13 to 20 ounces and cost less than 20 cents, a practical solution where bottled water is expensive and tap water unsafe. Drinking technique requires biting off a corner and sucking the contents like a liquid pouch. While initially strange to foreign visitors, bolitas represent affordable hydration for working-class Hondurans. However, environmental concerns about non-biodegradable plastic waste have prompted organizations to promote reusable bottles and biodegradable packaging alternatives. Among the Garifuna people, the Hungu Hungu dance during Dugu ceremonies represents a spiritual practice where gender restrictions carry profound cultural meaning. Only women can perform this sacred dance, which serves as communication with ancestral spirits. Men can observe from outside the ritual circle, provide musical support and assist with logistics, but they cannot participate in the dance itself. Garifuna beliefs hold that women, as life-givers and bloodline keepers, possess unique spiritual authority to channel messages between the living and the dead. This isn't discrimination, but spiritual specialization within a matriarchal society where women maintain exclusive access to certain religious practices that men cannot access or understand. In Honduras, soccer transcends sport to become national religion. Criticizing the national team, even jokingly, risks serious social consequences. Comparing Honduras unfavorably to regional rivals like Mexico or the United States can provoke heated arguments or physical confrontations. According to La Prensa surveys, over 70% of Hondurans identify soccer as their strongest patriotic connection, stronger than religion or politics. During World Cup qualifiers or CONCACAF competitions, the entire nation stops to watch, celebrate, and collectively invest their emotional energy in their team's performance. Children wear national jerseys to school, adults display flags on their vehicles, and neighborhoods organize spontaneous celebrations for every goal scored. For Hondurans, soccer isn't entertainment but identity. Honduras defies simple categorization because it operates according to its own internal logic, a logic shaped by geography, history, cultural mixing, and the daily reality of life in Central America. Understanding Honduras requires abandoning preconceptions and embracing a nation where the extraordinary lurks beneath every ordinary surface. From fish falling from the sky to bridges that outlasted their rivers, from ancient matriarchal societies to modern security measures that seem surreal, Honduras reminds us that the world contains far more mystery and complexity than any travel brochure could capture. What aspect of Honduran culture surprised you most? Share your thoughts and any unusual customs you've encountered in your travels. Let's explore the world's fascinating cultural diversity together.